The Greywood Sanatorium hadn't asked patience. For 50 years, rain lashed the sea rumbling brick facade as Eleanor Vance pulled her threadbare coat tighter. Keys cold and heavy in her hand. Her grandfather, the last caretaker, had died alone here. The will stipulated she live in the caretaker's cottage for 1 year. To inherit anything at all, desperation, not choice, brought her to the Volksschroeder grounds. The cottage nestled against the vast, decaying main building smelled of dust, damp plaster, and something vaguely medicinal. The first night, Eleanor heard it. Footsteps, not outside, not wind, distinct. Measured footsteps pacing along, abandoned. Wood corridor directly above the cottage ceiling. Thud, scrape, thud, scrape, like someone with arm dragging a heavy foot. Panic seized her. She called out, voice swallowed by the oppressive silence. That followed nothing but the drumming rain. The footsteps became a nightly ritual, always starting at midnight. Pacing above her bedroom for exactly 30 minutes, investigation revealed only dust, covered floors and collapsed ceilings in the ward. Above, impossible, yet the sound remained. Chillingly real, she found old records. The sanatorium specialized in nervous disorders and experimental treatments. One name recurred. Silas Thorne admitted 1923. Diagnosis hysterical paralysis and melancholia. Not to mention the persistent dragging gaze. Treatment unsuccessful. Discharged 1925. Discharged ... or died. Records were vague. The footsteps grew louder, more insistent. The scrape became a harsh, grating sound, setting her teeth on edge. Cold spots bloomed in the cottage, radiating from the ceiling. One rain swept night. The pacing stopped abruptly overhead. Silence, thick and expectant. Then a new sound. Labored, wet breathing. Not from above, from the corner of her bedroom. Eleanor froze. The air turned arctic. She could feel the presence. A dense, despairing cold. She dared not look, burying her face in the pillow, praying for dawn. The next day, driven by terror and a morbid need to understand, Eleanor ventured into the derelict main building. Rainwater dripped through the shattered roof into the vast, ruined ward. Debris littered the floor, and there, near a collapsed section of wall, partially revealing the cottage roof below, she found it. Not dust but disturbed earth. Scratches on the floorboards, deep and frantic near a loose floor tile. Her fingers trembled as she pried the tile up. Beneath lay a small cavity. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, was a bundle of yellowed letters and a single, tarnished locket. The letters were from Silas Thorne to his wife, Martha. They spoke of fear, of pain inflicted by the doctors, of being trapped. The final letter, smudged with what looked like old brown stains, was desperate. They say ye are mad. They say the paralysis is in my mind, but I feel it. Martha, the cold iron they clamp to my leg. They starve me, shock me ... He hear them plan the final treatment. I cannot walk, but I must escape tonight, through the floor, to the cottage below ... Find help. The locket opened stiffly. Inside was a faded photograph of a young man and woman, Silas and Martha. Silas had a kind, intelligent face, but his eyes held a deep sadness. Eleanor's blood ran cold. Escaped through the floor ... To the cottage below. He hadn't been discharged. He tried to escape downwards, through the very space above her bedroom. What had happened? Did he fall? Was he caught? The records showed no death notice, only discharge. That night Eleanor waited. Silas' final letter clutched in her hand. Midnight came. The footsteps started again, louder, heavier, more frantic than ever. Thud ... Scrope. Thud ... Scrope. They paced above, then stopped directly over the spot where she'd found the letters. Silence descended, heavier than before. The arctic cold slammed into the room. The wet, labored breathing began again. Right beside her bed, closer, ragged, desperate gasps filled the air. Terror screamed at her to run, but something held her. Pity, horror. The weight of the letter. She couldn't bear to look, yet she couldn't stay silent. Her voice was a trembling whisper, barely audible over the phantom gasps. Silas. The breathing hitched, stopped. The cold intensified, biting into her bones. Then, a sound like dry twigs snapping, impossibly close to her ear. Her voice, thin, broken, and choked with unspeakable pain and dirt. Help me. only, not a plea from above, a guttural, suffocated demand, rising from beneath the very floorboards beside her bed. The frantic scratching sounds began, not from the wall above, but calling upward splintering wood. From underneath her bedroom floor, the floor boards near the wall began to bulge, and crack. Something was trying to get in.